So, like I said, we get into this combat base position, right? And I start going for this knee cut, and they're turning on their side and they're blocking my bicep from coming in here, right? So from here, you know, I could drop down on them, bring this knee in anyways, right? They're blocking me from getting head control, and they're on their side. So I'm just kind of trying to keep connection here. I'm trying to get here. So here I can back off, right? They're framing, so they're doing this kind of thing. So I can underhook here, underhook the back of the head, and go into that Darce choke that we talked about a long time ago. So that's something that's there from that knee cut pass. But what else is there, right? So depending, right? I've come into this knee cut pass, they're framing against me here, right? So, you know, there are things that I can do. So I've got this leg free, I could step through, underhook their arm here, go for that far side arm bar, okay? So that's just another thing that's kind of there. So we can exploit the fact that they're framing, right? So I've got my knee cut right here, so they're framing out like this. So I could go through their frame here, underhook their tricep, pull up, and sit here, and I use my body to block them from getting their arm back in, right? So that's another thing that's right there, and you might actually be able to get so high up that you've got the other arm separated. So you've got all kinds of shit you can do from here. You can do like a step over choke. You can step over here and get this little guy, right? We talked about that one. We could, if somebody's framing up against me, right, and I'm coming through, probably in this type of knee cut, but I'm here, right? I could, you know, come in through here. So I'm going on the head side of the arms. I'm going to hold the tricep here as close to the shoulder as I can, flare my arm up, and I'm going to pinch the wrist. It's going to bring the wrist up into my neck here. I can pinch that, right? Bring through and get a cutting arm bar there. So look at these passes, guys. See what you can do with them. When somebody is defending it, they are giving you something. So use that, okay? Am I saying that framing is a bad idea? Am I saying blocking the hip is a bad idea? No, because a lot of people aren't going to catch on that. A lot of people haven't been thinking about this, so they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, I can actually use that. So a lot of times people are just going to move on to something else. They're going to try something else, or they're going to fuck up their guard pass, and you're going to take advantage of that from the bottom. But for now, absolutely, guys, start thinking of ways that people are going to block you, because the thing is that they have to do something or you're going to pass their guard, right? So, and anything that they do, you know, can be exploited, right? So, you know, there was one here, like we were doing a single under this week, right? And maybe this guy's just really, really squirrely. So when we do a single under, guys, I'm in this combat base, and maybe he's blocking, like he shifted his hip up so I can't bring this leg across, and instead of switching sides, because maybe I'm shit with that pass, I'm going to swim under here. I'm going to go palm down, palm up, and I'm going to get this grip over their thigh here, right? So now their leg is going to be up on my shoulder here, right? So I've got this grip here. My elbow is deep in here, guys, because if it wasn't, he could just throw his leg over and he would triangle me here. So yes, you are in a little bit of risk of that, but I'm keeping my elbow right down by his tailbone, kind of, and I'm keeping this elbow down by his hip. So from here, I can get here, I can pull him up so that and start to stack him so that his shoulders are pinned to the mat, and then I can just shrug it off just like when we were talking about that over under pass, and look it off, right? You have to look in order to get the leg off. But sometimes people are going to have a rather difficult time with that pass. Maybe it's because there's a big size difference here or something like that, and it's just a little bit too awkward from here. So I've got this kind of grip here, so I'm going to post, get into a good low squat position, and I'm going to pull up, right? And now I'm lifting his hips off the ground, and I'm holding him up here. Now from here, I've got a playground, right? So I could step on their lower thigh, come around into a knee ride. I could step on the thigh, come into a reverse knee ride, right? I could here. We talked about a helicopter here that's available to you, right? So I can step with this leg, step, let go, fly around into the mount if I wanted to. And by the way, this is not the only time that that comes up, right? So let's say that I've stood up in guard here, right? And maybe I have this ankle here and I have this one here, right? I can rock them to one side, clear whatever's going on here, right? I can come out to the side, and then I can hold this one high as I pin that leg down, and I grab onto the ankle here as I step with my foot, right? So now his leg is pinned to the ground, and I can just step through. So that comes out in other times too. So maybe even like you're doing a back sweep, right? So you stood up in guard, and they're like about to go for your ankles here, and they're gonna drop their hips down. So I could catch that and kind of push their leg away from me. Now they don't have that pressure there, and they're a little bit stacked. They might even give up on going for your ankles here, right? So now I've got that control. If I have both, and I have both up like this, I can just move to one side and sit down, right, to pass those legs. So there are things there. So play around with it. There's also, you get that leg high one way or another. I could be here. I can pull it down to the side and start to slide through here. Boom, right? And again, because of the position that I'm in, if they grab a hold of that ankle, it's going to be really kind of easy for me to start to free it because it's on the outside rather than the inside. So I think that's about what I have for you as far as like the things that I've been thinking about and I've been working through, and things that I've been kind of coming up with for each of these positions. And I encourage you guys to do that, right? If somebody, somebody yesterday or the day before had said in another group about, how, somebody was in a full Nelson and had a body triangle on, and they're like, oh, he's like so helpless and there's nothing he can do about it. Yes, there is, right? So if the knee's going over the ankle on this side, right? So his shin's going across this way to his foot, and I'm in that position, right? I'm like, oh fuck. Bridge, try to be heavy onto that hip, right where he's joined there, right? And then scrape as you come forward. And what's going to happen is you're basically going to be doing an ankle lock on him, and he's going to have to tap out to that, most likely. There are other ankle locks that you can do from the body triangle, but that's probably the simplest one. It might not always work, but it's something to at least try, right? And this kind of brings me back to, I think it was Eduardo, but I could be wrong. Somebody in the chat group had brought up, it might have been Bun, I don't remember. And they'd asked about a pro wrestling hold where basically if I'm here, right, I have the leg out like this, I step between their legs, and then I'm going to somehow get the other one up, and then lay back so that my shin, their shin is going over their thigh here, right, for that other leg that's not captured, and I step over their ankle, and then I lay back here, right? And what I'm seeing is like people going like this to finish that. But what's happening there is I've got this, right? This shin is stuck over, my knee is stuck underneath that shin, right? So if I wanted to injure the other person, right, I would probably go under the ankle and extend up, and I've got a nice knee bar there. And if people are not, if you want to, you can do ankle here, heel here, right? And push up like that, because then you're going to be hyperextending their leg up. And I think that's going to be a better way of submitting than trying to come up here. But there could be something I'm not seeing there, right? Because of the way that they're laid out there, right? I could be doing basically a straight ankle lock on that leg that's going across here, right? That is being pinned by both of these, and it's held in place by his own. So there could be like, if you start to externally rotate here, you might be able to hyperextend the foot to get that injury to happen. But this leg, right, of the person who's applying the attack is stuck under your opponent's butt, right, with their leg here. So if, my legs are stuck like this and he's got his foot stuck in my ass here, right, I might be able to change the position of my body. I might be able to come in and hook their shin, and I can start pulling it into me and driving my hips. And what that's going to do, straight ankle lock on the person who's attacking you. That being said, we've talked about straight ankle locks, I think, a little bit now, where, I'm in that same position and I've got his ankle here. Maybe I don't want to go for that knee bar. Maybe all this shit is for just control, right? So what I need to do here, right, is I need to get underneath his ankle here, right, so that his foot is behind my armpit. I want to be toes at the top of the lever, and I want to be as close to this fulcrum as possible, right? And so from here, grab my own bicep here, and then I can just start to turn, look, and extend my body, right? And then I've got a straight ankle lock there as well. You could also heel hook the fucker, obviously. Please don't. Otherwise you won't have any friends left. But generally speaking, yes, there are a lot of attacks from that position. Though, frankly, when, and maybe I'm going to start a new video with this one, right?